Hello everyone, and welcome to the last video in my series of unit videos that I'm doing. We're finally doing xylvania. I'm sure most people were looking forward to this one the most. It took a lot longer than I hoped it would, a whole month in fact. Not because this was exceptionally hard to do, but mainly just because I've been busy lately. And I meant to get it done sooner, but I just couldn't find the time. But we're doing it now. And here we go. We're going to start with some levels that are from the Solar Empire campaign. Well, technically not, but they take place there. So first we're going to go here.
The Anglo Isles have launched a surprise.
Obviously we're not doing this actual level. This is the same thing as when I was showing the Frontier battleship. So we're going to storm the palace because there's a bunch of units here. It's one of the only levels that has the xylvanian bomber. The only level that normally has it is the skirmish mission, the second skirmish mission. I think it's called Exchange of Fire. But this level also has it if you mod to put it back in. So let's quickly get to it. I gotta quickly put them in follow mode and get them over to me before they get shot down. Because they spawn over there, and I'll explain why they can get shot down in a minute. One just took some damage. But as soon as they get over here, they'll be safe. As long as they don't fly near the anti-air vehicle, but I don't think that'll be a problem. So, now that that's not a concern, let me start talking about all the stuff we have. First of all, the light tank. So, in the first Battalion Wars, you got to play as xylvania one time, because they have one bonus mission. In the second game, you only get to play as them online, which means I'm pretty much going to be going over every unit in the game. And because someone specifically requested that I show all of the Tundran missions as xylvania, I'm going to end up doing that, which, regardless of if someone requested it, I probably would have done it anyway because in order to show all the units, it's kind of necessary. But here's a little treat. Since I'm doing this level again, I figured, well, I'll set it up the way it would have been if those unused units would have been in the mission. So down here we have Frontier Dreadnought. As I said in the comments of the Frontier video, they have a Dreadnought, or they were originally going to have one. They had 3 battleships and 2 frigates, so quite the naval force, just kind of sitting off the coast there. And xylvania had 3 artillery units here, no doubt for the purpose of attacking these Frontier naval units, though a Dreadnought takes out these artillery in like one attack, so pretty ridiculous. And then 2 bombers is what xylvania had, and that's why I had to call them into follow mode, because they kind of spawn over here and they can get shot down very easily by these 2 frigates if you're not quick about calling them into follow mode. Now, something else that I'm going to throw up really quick on the screen is a screenshot, a very old screenshot from before the game came out. IGN took it apparently, and you'll notice it looks kind of like this level, doesn't it? And it has the 3 artillery in the background that you can see, and there's the Frontier Dreadnought and frigate positioned kind of like right where you would expect them to be on the map, as I just showed. And that is because that screenshot, the early screenshot, is apparently how this level was going to be set up. So kind of nice to get some confirmation that they actually had been working on it. And I don't know, maybe it was originally going to be a single player level. There's no real way to know for sure. So anyway, that's that. Now back to the level. Xylvanian light tank. We have the xylvanian rifle grunt. All the xylvanian units look pretty cool, but also like they kind of tried to make them look a little bit obviously dark, since xylvania is the bad guys. The bazooka veteran has this cool like skull face mask. And yeah, we have the assault veteran. Something else I can mention is, in case you didn't notice, which pretty much most people would have noticed, they changed all the xylvanian veteran names. So like the assault veteran in Battalion Wars 1 was the minigun, the bazooka veteran was the rocket veteran, and I'll talk about the other ones when I get to them. But through modding, it is possible to get their names back to what it was, because I mean, if you mod, you can change the name to anything you want, so that might be something that I do at some point, just for fun, is change all the units that had specialized names back to what they were, like the Solar Empire Plasma Veteran as well. Then we have the xylvanian gunship. In the first Battalion Wars, if you watched my modding video, you would have seen that the accuracy of the xylvanian gunship was kind of bad compared to the Tundra and Frontier. In this game, they seem to have made it better, obviously for balancing purposes, but it does still seem a bit off. Like, you'll notice the shots kind of fly, like they don't hit in the same spot every time. I don't know, maybe that's just how it is for all the gunships, but I'm not totally sure. Now here we have the bomber, and as I said, this only shows up in 2 levels in this game, 1 if you don't mod, which is kind of strange because in the first game it showed up a whole lot. And something I'll mention is they did change the way its shots work, because if you remember my modding video before, its shots came out very slowly compared to the Frontier bomber. So this is obviously something they did for balancing purposes, because it would be really dumb if its shots only came out slow. So yeah, there's that.
3 minutes to go, Commander.
And then next we have the artillery unit. We have a lot of stuff to cover in this mission, and in this video in general it's going to be pretty much jam-packed of stuff, because every level is going to have every unit being shown pretty much. So this is the xylvanian artillery. You normally get to use it online. In fact, most of these, all of these, you get to use online normally without modding, so not really that big of a deal. If I take this artillery over to the coast here, I can actually hit those naval units just barely. It's not really a good idea since they also will end up wrecking the artillery, but I'll try to do it anyway really quick. I really wish I had more time in this level. The time limit's so short. For good reason, obviously, because there's only 2 objectives here, so that's why there's not much time.
2 minutes left.
But yeah, my what I think is the out-of-bounds area probably wasn't what it is now originally. Oh, and that battleship's already spotted me. But yeah, so again, not really sure what their original intent was with giving the Frontier all these naval units, because it just seems kind of hard to imagine a scenario where that would be balanced with that dreadnought out there. But anyway, let's actually go fight the Frontier units before this is over. I spent so much time talking because, I mean, I couldn't really not in order to get through this up. That was bad. And in case you're wondering, the xylvanian bombers
1 minute remaining, Commander.
and artillery will not respawn if they are destroyed, which is because the units, each individual unit is set up to respawn, and if it's not set up to respawn, then it just won't. I'm not sure how hard it would be to get them to respawn, but I didn't bother to look into it because I don't really care that much. Also, check this out. The bombers absolutely wreck the missile silos.
To go.
Like, look at that. It goes down so easily. And if I have enough time, I'm going to quickly show something that's kind of strange here. Yeah, I should have enough time easily, because the bomber is just OP against these. For some reason, destroying all the objectives here doesn't advance the mission. It normally does, but I'm not sure why. It might have something to do with the fact that I changed my army to xylvania without changing certain other things. So, yeah, I'm not totally sure why that happens. And as with the previous online missions I showed in other videos, it hangs at the end, so I will be back in a moment. And I'm back. Okay, so, first of all, sorry that that mission was so rushed. It's just the time limit's so short, and there was so much stuff that I wanted to talk about in it that I was really kind of just rushing through it. But hopefully it wasn't too bad. Next we have, let's see, which level are we going to next? If I can remember which one I switched out. I think it was the second one. I'm pretty sure I switched out the second level.
The Western Frontier
Let's find out.
garrison.
Hopefully this is the right one. It's an online level. Again, another online level. Okay, so let's see. Yep, this is it.
We gotta use this combined battalion.
It's a co-op mission,
Strike at the
and
heart of the enemy, Commander.
once again,
I recommend you start with a radar array.
pretty cool that you can play as the enemy army, even in co-op levels.
You heard the lady.
Now, the reason why I'm here is for the acid gas veteran and the recon. This is the only level in the whole game that has... Whoa, what are you doing? Jeez. This is the only level in the whole game that has the xylvanian recon. And I think in the first Battalion Wars, there was only one level that had it too. I could be wrong. And it's actually this same level, because this co-op level is just a throwback to the same level from Battalion Wars 1. Just slightly different because there's rain and it's co-op. So here it is, the xylvanian recon. Now, as you know, in the first game, xylvania did not have a light recon. They only had a heavy recon. So in Battalion Wars 2, they just transferred over the heavy recon as the recon, whereas Tundra and the Frontier used their light recon models as the recon. Which is almost kind of surprising, because they actually had a planned light recon model for xylvania, which was like a motorcycle with that attached seat next to it, I think where the gunner would go. So they could have tried to use that, but maybe they just wanted to stay true to what this mission had in the original First Battalion Wars. And its physics are definitely different from the other two recons, I noticed. Now let me do something right here. I can destroy this barbed wire to free those,
Read the munitions dump.
yeah, the POWs. But oddly enough, nothing happens when you free them, because I'm pretty sure that's just because the Solar Empire or the Frontier has to be close enough to them, and that, like, obviously they're not supposed to be just freed randomly before you even get near them. So probably if the Frontier or Solar Empire units got near them, they would become active. I can also do this to blow up the munitions dump.
All you gotta do is destroy the radar array and the fuel refinery.
Which is kind of funny. You can actually complete most of this mission as xylvania just by goofing around, but you can't destroy the radar array unless you were to actually edit the radar array's allegiance and make it an enemy. But as the level's set up, you can get through a lot of it. And this fuel storage tank, kind of something interesting. Each of these parts of the fuel storage thing are their own, you know, unit. So you can tell units to defend each individual part, which I just thought was kind of interesting. In the first game, it wasn't even a thing you destroy. It was, you had to capture the oil fields, and you had to capture the radar array. But in the remake of this level, it was just destroying each thing. Now, unlike the POWs at the other camp, these ones will actually attack you and become active. Which is kind of weird, because I would expect them to act the same way as the other POWs. Oh. Oh. Oops. Well, they destroyed the, yeah. I guess this is a good chance for me to show this, because I haven't really shown it directly. I've only talked about it. So as you can see, I'm an invisible unit now. And the reason for that is, this is what happens. This is how the missions are set up in a lot of levels now. So units, obviously there's some units that are still in play, which are all these ones down here. But other units, and a lot of units in a lot of levels, are set up to despawn when there's no player army units around them. So in this case, this bazooka veteran despawned when those units got destroyed, because now that there's no Frontier or Solar Empire units near him, he just despawns. But if any of these units were to get near him, he would respawn. So kind of annoying. Actually, it's really annoying when you're testing levels out. It used to be anyway. It's less annoying now because I know good ways to deal with it. But if something like that happens where you get killed right when the enemy units die and then it transfers you to a unit that is still alive but will despawn, you're just kind of like, well, That sucks.
I recommend you start with the radar array.
So I showed the recon. Here's the acid gas veteran. You get to use them online in one level.
Get your behinds up that hill,
I'll actually be showing that one level later, but he shows up in this one too, so I'm showing him now. And let's just have a little fight with these Western Frontier and Solar Empire units. Just like in the previous co-op level that I showed in the Anglo Isles video, the enemy army in co-op missions is set to actually have higher stats than they normally do in single player. Kind of like how the player army usually has stat buffs, the enemy army also has them in co-op levels. So these units are actually... Look at that recon, oh my god. These units are actually pretty well buffed and can probably handle taking down a lot of the xylvanian units without a player commanding them. But let's see if I can beat them. Oh, these light tanks have no one in them. That's not good. Oh yeah, but the acid gas veteran, one cool thing about him is he's the only xylvanian unit, and I think the only unit in the game to retain the specialized name from Battalion Wars 1. Which is obviously shown down there, acid gas. And I guess that's because it wouldn't make sense to call him a flame veteran, because he is shooting acid, not flame. But the Solar Empire flame veteran is shooting plasma stuff, which is why he was called a plasma veteran in the first game, so I don't know. It doesn't really make all that much sense. And as you can see, we haven't even put like a dent in their forces, really. Oops. Give me some of those. Oh, but now we did. That was easier than I expected it to be. I guess acid gas veterans just totally burn through them. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this level. I can't really say anything more about the recon. I don't know how different it is from how it was in the first game, because I didn't use it all that much. But I can definitely say again that its stats are different from, say, the recon, the Tungeon recon or the Frontier recon, or even the Solar Empire recon. And I have to quit this level because I can't finish it as xylvania. So that's those two. And that's all of the ones here that I wanted to show, I think. So next up, we're not going to the Tungeon campaign. We're going here to the prologue mission. I actually have a good surprise right here. And the reason I use the prologue mission is, I don't know if you've noticed, but I pretty much try to switch out online missions for single player missions in the campaign that they fit into, for the most part, to keep things, I don't know, neat. And so I don't get all mixed up and I can remember where I put levels and stuff. But since I'm showing every Tungeon single player level already, there's no room to put a xylvanian level. And it'd be really awesome at some point if we could figure out a way to add just more dots on the map, but I'm pretty sure that would be a lot of work to do. And I'm not even sure if the game would allow it without doing like extensive edits to like a lot of parts of the game. So I put the Cold War mission in the space of the prologue mission, since I don't use the prologue mission. Now the surprise I mentioned was I'm going to be showing the experimental, I'm calling it, experimental offline multiplayer that I've got going so far. And this, what you're seeing right now, is basically I didn't change anything. All I did was move the multiplayer level to single player, and this is what shows up, which surprised me a lot because I expected it to just not work at all. Like, I'm amazed that it even has split screen without any additional edits to it. Obviously it's full of problems because you can see that there's a weird divider in the middle. The xylvanian side of the screen has a weird lighting to it except for that little divider. You can't hear Marshal Nova's voice, you just hear Kaiser Vlad's voice. There's a big gray box up in the left, which I have no idea what that is, or how to get rid of it. But this is still something, you know? It's... the fact that it works at all is amazing. And it could, you know, with some edits, this could be actually working. Because keep in mind, this is set up for online. So it could be that it is actually possible to play just regular split screen if you edit some things that they already have set up for split screen. Now the reason I want to go to this level is obviously it's the only level in the whole game that has the ack-ack veteran, or what is now just the anti-air veteran, for xylvania. And we can't even see the time limit. But yeah, he's an anti-air veteran. Kind of surprising that he doesn't show up in any other levels in the game. No single player levels or any other online levels. But they threw him into this one, so that's cool. And we have acid gas again in this level. And we have a battleship, so I can also show the battleship here, even though we'll be seeing it later on a whole bunch. And let's try to beat this level, because that seems like a fun thing to do right now. And as we're going, I can explain some other things. I'm controlling player 1, who is on the left, which is xylvania, but I'm also kind of controlling player 2, which is the Tundran assault veteran. It's very strange. How do I explain it? I can use my right stick to turn player 2, the same way I use it to turn player 1. But I can't move player 2 around. I can only make him like turn when I use my right stick, and I can't order commands. So pretty much the only control I have over player 2 is the right stick, which turns him. Which is fine, because obviously you wouldn't want player 1 controlling both units ideally, if I ever got this working. But it is kind of weird that you have control over both units to some extent. You also notice that the for player 2, the little icon for his assault veteran has a blue base underneath it for xylvania, and his HUD is all messed up. That's because my HUD is xylvania, but there's no separate HUD for player 2 right now, so player 2 is trying to use player 1's HUD, and obviously that doesn't work out very well for it. Alright, let's destroy this concrete barricade. There we go. Let's clean up the rest of these units. Oh, that heavy tank's way the heck over there. Forget that. I'm honestly not sure. Dang it. I think Kaiser Vlad said how much time I have left, so I'm not too concerned though. Okay, let's move along and get to destroying these fuel storage tanks. Oh, this is annoying. I hate when the Tundran commander gets transferred to the bomber, because then he keeps going out of bounds. Whenever he goes out of bounds, it also makes the xylvanians get a black screen like that. Of course, if he comes over here, I can kind of tell my units to attack him. But seriously, isn't this weird? Like, if you've ever wanted to know what it's like to freaking control 2 units at the same time, now you know. That does not work well at all. Alright, let's get my units over there to attack stuff. Actually, let me take control of the heavy tank now. It should be capable of doing stuff on its own. The battleship, I mean. There. Also, you'll notice the cursor is just way the heck off. Like, it's way over there to the right, but I'm shooting straight. It's just a real big mess. But it would be awesome to get offline multiplayer working. I think it would be a lot of work, but it would be really cool. And in my opinion, it's something that should have been in the game to begin with. Of course, it's great that it had online at all. That was a really nice surprise. But still a letdown to see no offline, seeing as the first game was originally intended to have it, and seeing as they obviously already were experimenting with it for it to be this far along. And yeah, that gray box is like really obnoxious. It makes it impossible to see what I'm doing sometimes.
Follow the coastal ice sheets under the
There. And okay, that RPG tower is gone. Let's just clean up these units here. And yeah, this is a lot easier without an enemy commander attacking. Okay. And also, I should mention, this is the last online mission I'm showing. After this, we'll be doing single-player stuff. Okay, so... Oh. Okay. Let's go capture the HQ, and then we will be done. Man, it is so hard to see like this. There's no gray box on the right side, which is nice. I mean, it has to have something to do with the HUD. I just don't know what it is. I kind of thought it might have something to do with the radar, since the radar is the only thing that would be up there, I guess. And you'll notice that there's no radar shown for either army, really, at the moment. And there we go. Mission complete.
Another xylvanian victory. Soon the world shall fall to its
And the game is gonna hang again after this
complete.
mission complete cutscene. Here's something weird though. It displays both voice clips for success and failure. And that's that. So I will be back in a moment, and we will be moving on to single player missions.